questions, whatever question you get during the test, right? It will be there from the middle of the chapter. You will get your questions coming from middle of the chapter, because middle of the chapter in the sense, if I speak about structured questions, it's so difficult because it is, you get your choices and you have to just click on the correct answer. So it's very difficult. So since history, I'm giving very object. It's all objective for all the subjects. Where you find the correct answer. For example, just an example I'm telling you. The question is given to you that when was Congress, okay, formed? When was Congress formed? Okay, Indian National Congress formed. So you will get the options, the date, for example, 20th December 1884, 20th December 1885, 20th December 1886, 20th December 1887, right? So you, for example, you get four options. Now you should know the answer and you will click on the correct answer, right? The correct answer, for example, the answer over here is 20th December 1885, right? So you have the options, right? So you have to click on the correct option. I think it's quite clear to everyone. This was an example which I gave, right? You will get A, B, C, D, right? It depends on from teacher to teacher. Yes, how many options she is giving you. But as far as I'm telling you, four options, and you will just click on the correct option according to you, whatever you feel it is the correct answer, right? You should know your chapter, the reduced content, whatever I told you. You will go through the reduced content, reduced syllabus, right? The matter, and you will go through everything, because see, structured questions are not being given to you, so you cannot say, ma'am, I was not knowing this answer, I was not knowing that answer. There should not be any grievance because it is totally objective. If I say you have multiple choices, and out of those multiple choices, you're simply going to click on the correct answer, right? So it is very clear and it's very easy. You don't have to panic so much, right? As you start with the paper, you will get acquainted how you have to start your paper, right? Now, those who have seen their brothers and sisters for online examinations, and also many exams are being conducted online these days. So it's just like that only, right? So you have your paper in front of you, the screen will be there, and you will just be clicking on the correct options. On the correct option, and at the end of the last question, when you finish with the last question, right, you will get the option submit. I think the teachers have spoken with you, right? Teachers have told you. I'm just coming. Yes, those who have raised their hand, Kushagra Mishra has raised his hand, right? I'll just answer to you. Yes, we just press on to submit. Now, submit means that you are submitting all your answers, right? So when you submit all your answers, it is understood. Yes, the system takes your answers, right? The system will accept your answers, and then you will soon get your answers as well. Okay, the result of, if I say of your attempt, right, of your assessment, you will get your answers. Did yes, Kushag, let me answer, Kushag, then I'll answer to you, Mayam. Yes, Kushag.
Ma'am, you are taught chapter 3.
Yes, here I've taught all the chapters, Kushagra. Yes, 5 chapters of Unit 1, if I say, of Indian national history has been done, right? It
Okay.
has been done. Yes, if you are feeling doubtful, I don't know what is wrong. I have finished with the 5 chapters, if I say, of first 5 chapters of your history. I have completed 3 chapters of your civics are done, and then contemporary world history. I have completed First World War. Then I was, yes, see, according to the reduced syllabus, we were not supposed to do dictatorship, rise of dictatorship. We started with Second World War. Last class, I completed with Second World War as well. I was discussing the answers of Second World War. Today, I'm supposed to complete this chapter, and I am expecting to start with the next chapter, that is United Nations, right? So this is what I have planned. And so this, I'm just telling it to everyone so that all your doubts are clear, right? Okay. Yes, Mayank.
Structured question 3 part structured 3 question 3 part B of chapter second.
Part B. I said, Mayank, I'm starting with this. This was, I'm just clarifying to everyone. Now I start with the question, okay? I hope no one has any doubt, right? No one has any doubt. I was still waiting for participants. 10 minutes have passed, right? So I think it's quite clear to everyone, even about the paper also. Paper in the sense your online assessment test, which you will be getting, right? So it's clear to everyone. You get 4 options. You simply click on the correct answer, okay? The correct option which you have. And then you submit at the end. And I think you are very smart. I think better than me also with the technology, right? So, and then teachers rest, many most, there are so many teachers teaching you. Yes, everyone must have shown you how the whole system will work out, right? It has been sent to you also in the group, right, about the assessment, how it will be carried out. So please go through that also, and nothing to panic about, right? Nothing to panic, right? You are supposed to prepare finally for your board examination. Focus, right? But God knows how things are working out. We really don't know. Every month we have new things to hear about. So you keep studying, keep working hard for all the subjects equally. And especially, I'm telling you, geography and history really helps you to bring up your percentage. It boosts up your percentage, right? If you have seen, if you have brothers and sisters who have passed out, if you have come across their mark sheet, yes, it is only this subject which really helps in getting better percentage. If I the overall percentage, it's not only subject, I'm talking about your percentage. So please work hard, right? So it will help you out for your, if I say, for your better result, right? Students, right? So they really lost marks just because exams were not conducted, especially geography paper was not conducted, bio paper was not conducted, right? Computers and right, so they simply missed out these papers. So I'm telling it to everyone, you should be prepared for all kind of circumstances now, this time, right? As a teacher, I'm telling you, as a friend, as a guide. So please try to understand, right, the circumstances we are all going through, right? Now, next, I start. Just now, Mayank asked me. I had this. I was discussing structured. I think you can. There's nothing much for me to help you to mark the answer. The answers are all there, right? If you really want me, you can raise your hand. That, ma'am, please give us this answer. You can raise your hand, right? I'm going through everyone. Yes, in my screen, the participants who are raising their hand. So, right, I had discussed all these answers of structure 1A and B, 1AB, that is failure of League of Nations, right? You can go through failure of League of Nations, how League of Nations was a total failure. I told you some points also for, right, why it was a failure. So you can just mention those important points. Repeating again those for some. I'm not going to give much time to this chapter now because a lot of time has been given. So you failure of League of Nations, you can write down US did not join. That was a big blow, right? You can also mention that the members were not interested in collective security. That was another big blow to the League of Nations. The first paragraph, which is there under point number 5 in your new book, page number 128, right? Then you can also mention that the members, you can also mention that the members did not give any kind of financial help, aid to League of Nations. This was another important blow to League of Nations, okay? That there was no economic help out given to League of Nations, right? So next, you can also members of United Nations entered into mutual political and military alliances instead of asking help from League of Nations. So here it is there. I hope you yes you go through failure of League of Nations. Next, 1B, aggressive nationalism of Germany. Aggressive nationalism of Germany. You will find this in point number 2, page 127, point number 2, page 127, rise of fascism and Nazism in the second paragraph. Fascism and Nazism in the second paragraph, page 127. Page 127. In Germany, Hitler wanted to reestablish the prestige of Germany in the international field. He flouted the military clauses in the Treaty of Versailles and declared rearmament. Right? So this is aggressive nationalism which is being followed by Hitler. Right? In 1938, he annexed Austria and dismembered Czechoslovakia. Right? So this is what he always wanted to do. Right? So this actually happened. So this whole paragraph, this you are going to mention as the aggressive nationalism of Germany, right? Policy of appeasement, I asked everyone to just simply cut this. Yes, you will simply strike out this question. Now 2A, that is under Treaty of Versailles was harsh and sowed the seeds for Second World War. 2A, the grievances of Germany against the treaty. I think this is the most easiest question. What were the grievances of Germany? Page 127, page 127, point number 1, page 127. Am I audible to everyone? Me, everyone? The answer which I told you, dissatisfaction with the Treaty of Versailles. So you can mention this. The treaty demanded, first thing, it was simply imposed on Germany. The Treaty of Versailles was simply imposed on Germany. Germany was forced to sign this Treaty of Versailles, right? You can also mention that the treaty demanded annexation of German territories and creation of many states. So German territories were taken up, right? So first point you can mention that it showed that is next we come to this zone, the seeds of bitterness and conflict, right? Now you can also mention that even German colonies were forcibly taken. German colonies were forcibly taken away from her, and she was divided into two parts for the benefit of Poland, right? So 4 points you are going to mention in your answer, okay? 4 points you're going to mention in your answer. And her military strength was also reduced. So if you have gone through the Treaty of Versailles, so all those harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles will be mentioned over here, right? So just the repetition of the Treaty of Versailles, right? Now, next, second B, motives of USA, Britain, France in imposing the Treaty of Versailles on Germany. What was the motive? What was the motive? The motive was that they simply wanted to humiliate Germany, right? The motive behind was that they simply wanted to humiliate Germany, right? Humiliation of Germany and bring down the forces of Germany. Okay, force, the power of Germany. So that was the reason behind. Now, next. So for you, okay, just wait. I'll call out this answer to everyone. Okay, I'll just call out this point, question number 2B to everyone. Just let us finish off with the 3A, Japanese invasion of China. Japanese invasion of China was explained to all of you, right? Page 128, you have this in page 128, point number 4. Then in 1931, Japan intervened in Manchuria, and in spite of the League's opposition, occupied it and set up government there, right? And it declared war against China in 1931. China appealed to the League of Nations to declare sanctions against Japan, but nothing happened, right? So you will write till year, that is China appealed to the League of Nations to declare sanctions against Japan. Britain and France, the leading members of the League, did not pay any attention to the appeal. So this is to the appeal. I think you have got it. That is, Japan started an undeclared war against China in 1931. Most important, you should start from here. That is, Japan started undeclared war against China in 1931. China appealed to the League, but yes, none of the great powers, Britain and France, the leading members, did not do anything. They did not pay heed to the words of China, right? So this is the answer, Japanese invasion. Next, third B, ideological differences between nations. You will just leave this out, ideological differences between nations, because ideological, here we speak, we do not have it in the course for this time, right? Reduced syllabus doesn't speak or ask us to go through this. So you will just strike out this question, ideological differences between nations. Third C, Hitler's invasion of Poland. Hitler's invasion of Poland, you will go through, that is at least one point you will mention why Hitler, or very briefly, that is the land route which was given to Poland, right? And next thing, that is that Danzig area was occupied. The port of Danzig area, it was all occupied by most of the Germans. So that is why he wanted to get back Poland, okay? Or that was the reason he attacked on Poland, because, and then there was many other reasons as well. But you can start here. 2 points you can mention. The city of Danzig was inhabited mainly by Germans, right? You will mention this. And Germany was divided into two halves in order to give way land route to Poland. So that is why he wanted to attack on Poland. So on September 1st, 1939, German armies marched into Poland. So this you are going to write this as your answer, marched into Poland. France and Britain gave an ultimatum to Germany, and in reply, Germany attacked France, right? And on September 3rd, Britain and France declared war on or structured answer for this question. Next, for all the answers, questions which are there, A, B, and C, you will strike off, you will cut this, A, B, and C, for A, B, and C. You're going to cut 5, A, B, and C also you're going to cut, right? All the answers, yes, you're not supposed to attempt these answers of these questions. Picture study, I think I had told you, how did the person represent? This is Hitler, an immediate cause of the Second World War, his attack on Poland, right? We just now discussed. So it's the same answer, right? It's the same answer, Hitler's invasion of Poland, right? So it's just a repetition. It became the immediate cause of the Second World War. B, how did Second World War come to an end? right? How did it come to an end? This you're going to cancel because it is not there, right? According to the reduced syllabus, you're not supposed to study, right? Next, see how can future war be avoided following the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, right? This answer has been sent to all of you. I have posted this answer in the group, and you will go through the answer and you will write down. The answer is actually speaking that Mahatma Gandhi and his teaching was totally based on non-violence or ahimsa. So if we follow the path of non-violence or ahimsa, yes, at the end of the day, we shall be able to avoid any kind of future war, right? So this is how we can avoid future war if we follow the teaching that is ahimsa or non-violence. There are many other teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, and you must have heard. That is, yes, for example, there are so many things he has said that if the person slaps on the other side of your cheek, so yes, you should give your other cheek also to be slapped, right? So that the person feels humiliated that he has done something wrong, right? So this what there are so many other teachings, but yes, very important. That is ahimsa or non-violence. So I've sent the answer. You will go through that answer. Now, if now coming to short answer, short answer. What was the issue between Germany? One, you are going to do what was the issue between Germany and Poland, right? So there are so many issues already. I told you, right? That was the cause of World War II. You're going to write down two. Yes, you have three there. You're going to write down two issues. Okay, the two reasons. Second, what was Treaty of how was Treaty of Versailles responsible for Second World War? Right, Second World War because it had humiliated, insulted the Germans. Next, you write down a huge amount as repression had been imposed on Germans and her colonies had been taken away. So the main cause for Treaty of, or if I say for Second World War. And Nazism become one of the cause of Second World War. So rise of fascism and Nazism, you have it there. Fascism and Nazism, Roman Empire, right? And then it came to an alliance with Germany, right? It strengthened its position with Germany, right? And next, we also see German or Hitler under Germany under Hitler started to flout all the military clauses which were imposed on it through Treaty of Versailles, right? So here Mussolini is glorifying the old Roman Empire and coming into an alliance with Hitler, right? He comes to an alliance with Hitler or Nazism. Okay, it is very clear Hitler associated with Nazism. He starts flouting all the military clauses. Flout, you understand, breach or break of all the military clauses in Treaty of written down in Treaty of Versailles. So this is how we see that it become, or if I say Nazism and fascism become the cause of Second World War. Next, what was Berlin Rome Tokyo axis? Why did Italy join the side of Germany and Japan in the Second World War? This is mentioned very clearly. That is, Japan joined Berlin Rome Tokyo axis. So Berlin, that is, I think, Germany, all the important powers who join or come together or make an alliance with each other to follow the policy of expansion and conquest. You have this in page 128, point number 4, right? Japan joined Berlin Rome axis to form the Berlin Rome Tokyo axis to further its policy of expansion and conquest. right? It is quite clear now. So here it is very mentioned what was this, so that, and why did Italy join? Here, Japan left League of Nations and started occupying Britain, British and American properties in China. So at the end we see, okay, next question. Why did Italy join the side of Germany? Italy joined the side of Germany for economic gains. For economic gains, and another point you will also mention that Italy was expecting, yes, to gain a lot of things which it did not receive after the First World War. After the First World War, for example, actually these you will get this better answer in chapter number 11, which has not been taught to you, which has not been taught to you. That's the main reason why it's becoming difficult for me to teach also, because we have skipped many parts of some of the lesson, right? So there, just beside the question over there, Italy had joined the side of Germany and Japan because it wanted to gain more territories, okay? During the first, after the Treaty of Versailles, okay, after Treaty of Versailles, it did not receive anything which it had expected when it had joined the First World War, right? So next, question number 5. What was the immediate cause of the Second World War? All of you know, right? That is attack on Poland. Immediate cause. Which incident brought? Which incident brought USA in the Second World War? We're going to cancel this because we have, yes, we are simply skipping off this portion, right? So you will cancel this question. Which incident brought the USA in the Second World War, right? So you're going to cancel this. It was attack on Pearl Harbor, actually. Now, rest of the questions you're going to cancel. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? From 6 to 14, you are going to cancel all the questions. 6 to 14, you're going to cancel all the questions. Okay, there is Manu who has raised hand. Okay, hands lowered. So I think it's clear. We move to the next chapter then, right? I will move to the next chapter, but yes, you must, I just want to tell you briefly, we see the end of two great leaders, right? Because we are not going through the consequences. We're going to see the end of two leaders, right? You call them great or harsh or whatever. Yes, it depends from person to person. That is end of two dictators, that is Mussolini and Hitler, right? Mussolini was hanged by his own people who had been promised so many things, right? The Italians had been promised so many things by Mussolini, but ultimately it was a total failure, right? So at the end of the day, you will get to see there are so many clippings in the History Channel also provides a lot of clippings that he was hanged, simply hanged, right, by his own people. So, and then this was the Mussolini. And we also see Hitler also had a very poor ending, right? He was there in the bunker, right? And in the bunker, it is said, it is believed that he committed suicide. He committed suicide. He was there in the bunker with all his very close, if I say, people or generals who were there, the military people with him, very close people. And there, over there, he committed suicide in his study room. He locked himself. He was there. Just that day, just one day before he had got married. Okay, this what the story tells us, what the historians say, that he had just a one day wife, yes, if I say, and there he was with her, and then the door was closed. He was there in the room, and a gunshot was heard. It is believed that Hitler committed suicide, and his one-day wife, she took cyanide. She took cyanide. It was a poison, and both of them, when the door was opened, both of them were found dead, right? Both of them were found dead, and Hitler already had told his officers what to do with his body. This is what the story, or if I say what the historians say, what the documents say, that his body was taken, carried, and then burned, right? He had asked his people to burn his body so that nothing or no remains are found. The enemy never finds anything about him, right? So his body and his wife's body was burned, right? So this is in brief about the ending of dictators. So I think one should not behave the way they had tried. Yes, though yes, their motives were not wrong, but the method they had adopted was not right? So it was not at all correct. They wanted to, yes, gain back the prestige of Germany. One side Hitler, the other side Mussolini wanted to gain back the prestige of their countries. But the method they adopted was not correct. Yes, they started with a war which brought a great devastating end for not only for them but for the whole world. Yes, if they had worked only for the people, yes, or get the economic crisis which the country was going through, right? If they had only worked on all these policies, right? Some way or the other, they could have brought their country to a different, if I say, to a different platform. But yes, the method they took was very wrong, right? And you must have heard about that is anti-Semitic policy of Hitler. It's very interesting. Anti-Semitic policy of Hitler, that he took all the Jews. You must have heard the stories also. The Jews were taken to gas chambers. The Jews were taken to gas chambers. Yes, he had the severe hatred for the Jews, right? And kind of high feeling for himself, for the Germans. He thought that they belonged to the Aryan race, right? The Aryans. And he had a great hatred for the Jews. He had his, maybe, I really don't know, I've not just worked on this, why he had this feeling for the Jews. There is again a story that something the Jews you are still going through also. In class 9, you read, in 10 also, that Shylock, you have read about Shylock, that he was a money lender. So there is a story behind this also, that maybe his mother had, given the. This is what I have heard from yes, different sources, that a ring had been. His mother had borrowed money. Something had happened, and from the Jew, one of the Jews, and that is why from that day onwards he. We also find this policy which was seen in Nazism, that he collected all the Jews from their houses, right? They were simply, yes, taken out from their houses, dumped into a train, and then they were carried to the gas chambers. There is a lot of, it's very interesting. If you see, there are so many clippings, so many photographs also. I have a book right now and present in front of me, where it shows that at the end, in that gas chamber, poison gas was let into, and these Jews were simply killed. Yes, they were killed because of the poisonous gas, which was where they were simply dumped, right? And we see heaps of dead bodies of the Jews, heaps of dead bodies, which in reality it's not anything fake or false, which really happened, right? So this was the atrocity which the Jews had to face, right? So this is in brief. We end with First World War and Second World War and the story of Mussolini and Hitler, right? I hope we were there in the class. Yes, it would have been really much more interesting. Now, next chapter, I have 40 minutes with you, right? So next chapter, which we will start with, is repeating again, that is chapter 13. Chapter 13, United Nations syllabus. Please mark the syllabus. Syllabus for this chapter. You have the syllabus in front of you, everyone, right? This the front page of the chapter syllabus. United Nations. We will go through the objectives of the United Nations. Please mark it, everyone. We will go through the objectives of United Nations, right? I hope everyone has marked this. Then we will go through the composition. We will go through the composition, right? You will simply strike off functions. You're going to cancel functions. We will not do functions of any of the bodies, okay? Only the composition. So please cancel function, and function you can cancel. So we are going to do the composition of the General Assembly, Security Council, and the International Court of Justice. This is what we are going to study. Right? So the composition of the General Council, Security Council, and the International Court of Justice. Only in the composition you are going to focus only on the composition, right? So you will not prepare functions of any of these bodies of United Nations. I think it's clear to everyone with the syllabus, right? So in case if I am, yes, we are not available to you all the time, right? So you should have your syllabus in front of you so that you can prepare yourself thoroughly, right? You prepare yourself thoroughly. Is it clear? Now, next, very important, every chapter, for every chapter, I always ask, you should know, you should go through the first paragraph because the first paragraph always gives a briefing or introduction to the chapter. Okay, so here we see the first paragraph gives us an introduction, that is the bitterness, okay, or the bad experience or the atrocities, or you can say the devastation which was noticed because of the Second World War and because of the failure of League of Nations. We see the birth of United Nations. Okay, we see the birth of United Nations. So at the end, you can go through the paragraph yourself, right? So here we see that it took finally, the shape was seen at San Francisco, the second last line on October 24th, 1945, in the form of United Nations organization, right? So here we say because of all kinds of bitter experiences which were noticed in First World War and then at the end Second World War, yes, everyone, all the great leaders realized that it's very important to have a strong body which can bring peace and harmony amongst all the nations, right? So United Nations organization was formed, right? Took the final shape at San Francisco, right, on October 24th, 1945. Right? Now next we see why it was established, why UN was formed. First point, nothing much to explain it to you, disastrous world war. I think so many times I have explained, you have also heard, read that the world wars turned out to be so disastrous, right? Many people, yes, so if I say children or many became homeless, children lost their parents, they became orphans. Yes, most of the people lost their jobs. There was economic crisis, right? So total destruction was noticed everywhere, right? So there was, yes, a feeling amongst the leaders that we should have an international organization to bring peace in the world, so that again we are back to the same condition, right? Back to the same. Okay. So some here. Some who are sending me messages over here. That is just reading out. I don't know the name. Who is this? Go through the chapter, the reduced syllabus, everything. Yes, within the chapter, any question can come. Any question can come, and I have already discussed I have already discussed the questions of those questions which are there in the reduced syllabus. I have already marked. Yes, I cannot go on repeating all the time. Please, those who have missed it out, I yes, you must be thinking, I cannot help out, or you grumble, whatever. Take it from your friends who have attended the class of mine. Please take it from your friends, right? Your friends are there, they will help you out. So take it from your friends. It's a request, right? Because every time I cannot keep on discussing, and go through the chapter thoroughly, right? Go through the chapter thoroughly. That's what I can say, right? The reduced syllabus, according to the reduced syllabus, go through the chapter thoroughly. I can ask any question, right? I can ask any question. You should be prepared. Clear? So next, I was discussing reasons for the establishment. Point number 1 discussed with you. Come to second point, that is failure of League of Nations. So here, this point already has been told, that we see failure of many leaders of the world felt the need for an organization which should be better and far more powerful than League of Nations, right? Next, third point, fear of Third World War. So now, yes, these two wars had been so devastating that none of the leaders were willing to take any kind of, if I say, uh, risk of another war, right? Or another destructive Third World War. So that is why they thought that let's have a very strong organization, right? So they simply feared. So all the countries feared that Second World War could be the cause of Third World War. So let's have a good organization, better organization. Next, division of the world into two blocks. This we simply skipped off. That is what happens after Second World War. We see two power blocks. One side was USSR and the other side was America. So USSR and its followers, there were countries who followed USSR, the communist beliefs, and there were countries who believed in democracy, the democratic thoughts, right? So we see the world got divided into two blocks. One side the communist, one side the democratic, right? So we see the division. India at that time preferred to remain neutral, right? So here two power blocks were seen. Next one, point number 5, destructive weapons. The most destructive weapon which was seen was the atom bomb, right, which was simply dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It simply scared the world, right? So everyone was now scared of these destructive weapons, right? And now every country by this time started preparing with atom bomb. So just to avoid any kind of further destruction happening or further destructive weapons destroying the other nation. So again, we see that is why United Nations was formed, right? Now, origin of UN has started with this. Yes, who were the people responsible? Roosevelt, President of US, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, right? They realized the potential danger of war. So many discussions were held, and at the end, United Nations was formed at San Francisco, and there were total 50 nations who were there, okay, who participated, right? And India was also a part of this meeting, okay. At San Francisco, I'm reading from the last paragraph of page 135, the text of United Nations Charter was drafted at San Francisco Conference held in June 1945. The charter was signed by 50 participating nations. India was also there. United Nations formally came into existence, underlined when it came into existence, October 24th, 1945. Right, this is the existence. And we also see that when the charter was ratified by 29 nations, including 5 permanent members of Security Council. We shall read in detail about it. So here we have, since then, October 24 is celebrated every year throughout the world as United Nations Day. You will go through the objectives, very important since the syllabus is asking us to go through these objectives of UN. First objective, is to maintain, yes. So objectives for which the United Nations was established are enshrined in the preamble to the United Nations Charter, okay, the preamble. So first, maintain international peace and security, right? So to remove any kind of aggression, right? Second, to develop good relation amongst the nations, right? Based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination. So every country has equal rights. So we must develop good relation with the nations. Next, third, to achieve international cooperation, working with each other, coordinating, cooperating with each other. Yes, that is solving all kinds of economic issues, social and cultural or humanitarian problems. Like humanitarian problems, if I say tomorrow, today, the whole world is going through a great, if I say pandemic, right? That is the coronavirus or we all are going through this. So United Nations is really working hard how the whole world can get rid of this virus. So yes, we need international cooperation, coordination. So United Nations really expect everyone to work out together against this pandemic. Right? Now, fourth, to be a center for harmonizing the actions of nations in the attainment of these common ends. So they work again, say it's just a repetition in brief, center of and last point you can underline. It also works on disarm, decolonize, and develop are the three new objectives set by UN. Okay, disarm, decolonize. Please mark that also. You should not forget. Disarm, decolonize, and develop. Now, next you have principles. What are the principles? Respecting each other's sovereignty. Second, all members should fulfill in good faith. Yes, believing in oneself and believing in the other nation. Right. Third, they should settle their international disputes peacefully. Right. So whatever problems the nations are having with each other, they should settle it very peacefully, not to go for any war. Fourth, and they should yes, they would refrain from the threat or use of force against any state. So should not, yes, uh, threaten the nations, okay, like the other nations threatening the other nation that I shall attack on you, right? It should not happen. And fifth, they should give United Nations every assistance in any action it takes. So helping out UN, right? It did not happen in League of Nations, so that is why this has been there included, that they should help out UN. Next one, organization should ensure that states which are not members of the UN act in accordance with these principles. Yes, whoever nation is not a member, they also should work on it. Next, point number 7, United Nations shall not intervene in the domestic or internal affairs. It's not going to enter in the internal affairs of any nation, okay? That's the internal sovereignty of the nation, of any state. So please underline where is the headquarters, United Nations, New York, US, International Court of Justice, which is at Hague in Netherlands. The flag is mentioned. Yes, it's light blue in color and portrayed in white. At the center is the UN emblem. So you have it over here, right? And there are twin olives branches you can see in the picture. Next, official language, Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. These are official languages. So whatever speech is made, it is translated in these 5 languages, though all the documents are written in English and French. Finances, from where it is going to get the money, every member nation is going to provide assistance or monetary help to United Nations, right? So this is how it is going to get money or monetary help. Now membership of UN is open to all peace-loving nations, okay? So this is in brief about it. So here you can go through 50 countries who took part in San Francisco conference, signed and approved the charter, became original members of United Nations. India is an original member of United Nations, and other countries are admitted by UN upon the recommendation of the Security Council by 2/3 majority of votes. So this is how the other countries can enter. That is when the members approve, right, with 2/3 majority, right? So this is what, and then So by this time, 2011, there are 193 countries who became member of it. So India is an original member, already I told you, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had attended the meeting at San Francisco. So this is in brief about the objectives and about the principles and about the headquarters, language, membership, finances, which I spoke to you. Now you will go through the composition. It's only composition now you have to focus, nothing much, okay? Under this United Nations, you will focus on composition of General Assembly. You will focus on the composition of Security Council, and then you're going to focus on the composition of International Court of Justice. This year's paper had a question on International Court of Justice, members of International Court of Justice. The question had been asked. So I have my doubts. Again, this question can be repeated or not. So a question had been asked from International Court of Justice. The composition members had been asked. Who are the members? So you be prepared this time for the paper. Let's see how it works out. God knows how things are working out. You should be prepared thoroughly with the composition of General Assembly, especially, and Security Council, right? If you have gone through the paper, or if you have got access to this year's paper. So it's time for the class to get over. Actually, only 4 minutes are there. Yes. So next class, I will start with it's only 4 minutes. So we have still, I think so, we have 5 minutes. So we have composition. I think we can finish off with the composition. And next class, I will finish off with the next chapter also. So if I say the General Assembly is very important, which takes all kinds of decisions, the work of United Nations is determined by the will of the majority members who are there in the General Assembly. Who are the members? Yes, all members of United Nations are members of the General Assembly, right? Each state has 5 representatives. For example, India can send its 5 representatives, but it's going to have only 1 vote. 5 members doesn't mean 5 votes. Each country has 1 vote, but there are 5 members from each country. Okay, so each state has 1 vote, but each state has 5 representatives in General Assembly. So it's a big body, if I say. Okay, in September, and it goes on till 3rd week of December. This is how the meeting on, and there is a president, 21 vice presidents, and chairman of the assemblies, right? 6 main committees. So this is how they are appointed, and the member is there to ensure equitable geographical representation, that every country gets representation geographically. Okay, so the presidency of the assembly rotates each year among 5 groups. So it is all divided, like Africa one time, then members from Asia, then we have members from Eastern Europe, Latin America, and Caribbean, and Western Europe, and other states. So this is how it keeps on rotating, that every nation state gets, or every, if I say every continent, the continent or the nations in that continent get representation as president. Okay, so this is in brief. Special sessions are convened by Secretary General at the request of the Security Council, or special request by majority of members. So this is in brief about it, right? So next class, you go through the chapters, start preparing for the test, right? So you will soon get the timetable. I don't know you have got the timetable or not. I have no idea about the timetable, if you have got it or not. So just wait for the timetable to be there, and you start preparing with the chapters, okay? So any question you want to ask anybody? I have still some time with you. No one? Nobody has any question? Okay, so we can put the class for yes, end the meeting for today. Let's end the class. Is there again asking something?
The teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. Then, ma'am, can we write the answer in our own words?
Surely, Ashutosh. You can write down your own answer. There is no issue. Yes, there is no issue, right? But you can write down. But the main point is following his teaching of ahimsa, satyagraha, right? Which we will study
तो
next
मैम
after
जैसे अगर
finishing
ये
off.
सारा टॉपिक पढ़े हुए रहेंगे तो फिर इन सब टॉपिक को पढ़ के अपने वर्ड्स में फॉर्मुलेट करके एक आंसर बना देंगे तो वो
सही
सही रहेगा
रहेगा.
ना.
पर मुझे डाउट है ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा टू
जी.
हियर. तो महात्मा गांधी और सारा जो हम लोग अभी पढ़ेंगे अहिंसा सत्याग्रह. So you can write down all these points, the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi.
ठीक है.
Yes, which can avoid future war. Ah, no problem. Okay, Ayush. Ayush is waiting. Okay, he has raised his hand. Sure, Ayush.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, you have to learn all the important years. Okay, like just now I told you one important year Congress when it was formation of Congress. So that's an important date. You will go through the dates. These are some important dates. Don't miss it at all.
Okay, ma'am.
You're not supposed to miss. Understood? All important dates. That is East India Association, Indian National Conference. Go through all those dates. Who had formed, when it was formed. Go through them. Okay? Don't miss out the dates. Because what has... I could not form any... It's very difficult for me. Questions are given or, we usually have long answers. So it was very difficult for me also from my end. But don't worry, paper is going to be easy. You can all manage. All of you can manage. Anything else, Ayush?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, most welcome. So I end the class for today, right? Goodbye, class, everyone.